chance it does, then you need to kind of figure that aspect out. Now, you're like, what is he saying? Have you been thinking this whole time? Have you been thinking about yourself? Because I'm talking to a screen. I'm talking to a phone right now. I'm talking to a person who I don't really know is there. So what you hear, I'm happy I say this for the end. What you hear, what you interpret of what I've just said is subjective to your current opinions, perspective, and vibration in which you are right now. Sound, frequencies, vibration, music, one of the great luxuries of life with the access to leisure, right? It's Black History Month, 2024, and person I usually stay out of this conversation, I'm an immigrant, even though I am of the same skin color, right? My ancestral slavery happened in Jamaica. You know, we liberate ourselves through guerrilla warfare, which is the same way, you know, Native Americans and some Americans beat people from back in the day, right? And to free ourselves of the not capitalist but communist reign that was colonialism in the spread of materialistic need and gain, right? Because just like herds of animals, humans are naturally nomadic, right? You know, based off the history books and common sense synopsis, you could tell that the more nomadic people that would leave, colonize, and take from other, let's say, small human civilizations were due, which is not due, I apologize, which is natural order, right? You see herds of animals do it, herds of people do it. You know, sometimes we just pack up a village and move it, and then we let one area heal, then we continue doing what we're doing over there. We'll start in one ghetto, build up somewhere else nice, go back, break down that ghetto, build it back up. That's what life's all about, right? And then, but some ghettos just stay the ghetto forever. Eventually, once life reaches that certain point, you know, like some places are literally just still exist for you to fall back into, but easily come back up without falling into and having to come back up that little steep part before you reach the peak of the climax, right? So I created a list of 6 things, right? I ended at 6 because anything beyond that is kind of change and personal preference in my eyes in numerology, right? 6 is known to be a sign of change, you know. Let's say if the devil were to manifest in front of you right now, obviously you would want to do something because you know it's here to prey on you, right? 0. You're not black, man. You're not black at all. You're actually a fine-tuned version of like yellow, right? You ever took a yellow crayon and just kept going harder and harder and harder? It just gets darker and darker and darker. And if you ever to remove a black person from too much sunlight, being exposed in the sunlight for survival, what happens? It gets paler and paler and paler, right? That's just natural. A black person spends a lot of time in the sun. Sometimes they will get darker and darker and darker because the sun is legit cooking us. The sun will kill us instantly. The sun gave us life and it'll take it away, right? Can't survive without it. And what was I saying? We can't survive without it. can't die without it. I don't know, I guess. You could die whether it's there or not. But yeah. But yeah, you're really just a dark yellow, man. And to deny the awareness of primary colors, white, because black's not a real color. White's not really a real color either. Even though, who am I to say that, right? They are colors. They're the ends of the spectrum of all colors, to say, in a sense. But we're simply yellow, right? The darkest of whites that was curated to be able to survive and thrive in the sun, right? Lucky for us. And just black is such a definitive color that I feel like that alone just has caused so much like issues, right? Like, I don't know the word for brown in Spanish, but if you weren't called brown, like black can only go from black to gray. Black doesn't turn into a color for the most part, right? Black is nothing, right? So that's why I don't really like being referred to as a black person. I'm brown. Black is nothing. Black is lack of light, which then also fuels the evil and good and bad, stigmatations that we use to keep a hold on our life, right? Our society that we created, the spoils that we enjoy. That makes us more than just feral animals. Number one, Mansa Musa. Every black person should know Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa was the greatest human to ever do it, right? Richest of them all to this day, right? It takes multiple people from the top of the world to be what Mansa Musa did. The only thing closest to Mansa Musa was Britain, but that was an entire nation compared to one man, right? Mansa Musa was the greatest human, one of the greatest human interventionists ever, and he became Muslim. And if you want to think about being Muslim, I don't have anything with Christianity, right? Christianity kind of really fuels the assimilation. Someone will come and save you. We're society, like aesthetic of life, right? I don't hate on Christmas. It's pretty cool. Which controls the fire that's inside all of us that keeps us alive, that spark, which is fueled by the sun and the star that is inside the earth, right? So, inside the earth is fire, right? When we look at history, it looks like we came from that fire, right? And the fire that's outside of us helps support life on the outside, right? Now, that fire inside of you, it's a flame that keeps you alive. When someone's cold, when someone's dying, what happens? They're cold, they're sick, that fire, it's fleeting, right? And that's a common denominator among all. What's all this gas coming out right now? Whew. I mean, I'm speaking some gas, but it's definitely getting the gas on my gut, right? Sheesh. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that fire inside, the fire that keeps you pushing, that makes you want to get up in the morning, that gets you excited. It's way deeper than the dopamine, right? I feel like the dopamine thing is like what's happening, but like the internal fire that's like your spirit and your soul is what I like to say is good because it brings you out of a victim mindset, right? A victim, I'm stuck, I have to conform. I mean, conforming is one thing. Conforming comes with negativity. because there's coexistence, right? It brings you out of that place. And I'm not trying to get too deep into it because it's kind of redundant, right? You have access to the internet, you press like, you subscribe to this video, it's going to change your algorithm a little bit, and you'll slowly wake up to it. And as you go on living your life, enjoying the arts and all the fun things it has to offer, all the things that you find beautiful, you'll see what I'm referring to in this video. I'll remake this video again next year, most likely, right? As long as I remember and everything aligns. But, you know, once this video is up, it's up, right? You can always come back and find it, unless they take it down, which I kind of believe the rights for them to take it down, but only because I'm going to put me and my family first for the most part, okay? And my financial situation, okay? So, number 2. Like a newborn baby, you're limited to what you are capable of, and know which is actually a natural gift of life, right? So I just said, like a newborn baby, you are limited to what you're capable of, right? But the aspect of growth and overcoming these limitations is what life is, right? Now, this perspective to have, which will bring you out of that slave mindset, dog, pet mindset ahead of time, right? With life comes death, and the earlier you accept that, the quicker it is to become a higher vibrational being, a taller being, a bigger being, okay? Which elevates the will for tomorrow beyond survival. So that means, like, I'm not, when the sun comes back around, I'm not getting up, I'm not going back out there and just trying to eat, survive, and get back home. I'm going back out there and I'm living my life. I'm doing everything that life has to offer, because that's what all the sacrifice and hardships that our ancestors, not as a race, our ancestors as human beings have done to reach, to make life what it is now. And there's a lot of sacrifice and things we have to do to maintain this without soaring too close to the sun. See what I'm saying? So the slave mindset that accepting life and death will brings you out of this tool which only serves nature, right? Basically reinstilling God's free will, right? That's why we talk about free will, right? So right now, I'll just basically remind you what free will means, right? And why some people preferably like to worship a god or themselves, okay? Number 3, and that's regardless of race, right? Even Black people. Number 3, we have never been alone, whether it's humans, trees, flowers. These are all cells, bacteria. These are all aspects of what we call life that makes it all work, in a sense. Now, can some things fade out? Yeah. Some things we don't really need? Yeah. Right? When African Americans became slaves, why they became slaves? Due to lack of manpower, right? These white devils lived in simpler or less physically straining areas. They didn't hunt like real beasts like we had to hunt real beasts. They didn't have to fight real beasts like we had to fight real beasts. You know, they lived off of nature, more vegan lifestyles. They stayed in caves. They went weeks and months without the sun, with the same thing as just like a light-skinned person during the winter, right? They get real pale. They're always inside. There's no sun. It's the same thing what happened to these white people over a very long time. And it's very obvious and it's very true, because You ever seen like white people who move from like a northern area to, or like not white, I'm sorry, pale people? They tend to, if they do it in a healthy, good pace, they go from like that pale white to where you can see their blood to like a smooth, light yellow, which eventually fades into like a yellow orange, which eventually gets close to like light skin, black. Boom, that's it. And that's just really how it works. And we've seen it. We've tried to cancel people to it. We bullied people out of it due to ignorance. So the truth hurts, but the lies, I don't know. I don't even know. You can't really call them lies. You just call it ignorance, right? You're comfortable where you at. Like Dre said, I'm good where I'm at. All right, you're good where you at. That's it. So you're gonna stay there. But no matter what, it's just like in this video, I have to say that's at a lower vibration. That's like a weaker. Now, number 3. We have never been alone besides the cave in which you live, which protects you from the works of life that does not serve you. Hence, pray and pray is the same word, right? When you're out of your shelter, when you're back out in the real world, okay, you're either pray or pray, right? You're either acting on what you prayed for, what you want, you're going to do what you want, you're finding what you want, whether you're conscious of it or not. That's why they usually like to say, know where you're going, or you're gonna be prey, right? Now, and luckily most of us, we live in a society, so you being someone's prey is not that bad sometimes, right? Like the gas station, right? They're preying on you to need gas, but that gas gets you where to go, gets you to where you need to go in a short amount of time, which gives you more time to enjoy life and live life within your means and your free will. So yeah, they're preying on you, but it also answers your prayers. You see what I'm saying? So, but you need that mindset to where, and you need the awareness and the power of choice to know, like, are we coexisting, or am I being taken advantage of, right? And that's where racism comes in. People are trying to take advantage, right? They're trying to knock you down, right? It's like, oh, we're a country full of white people. Look how much we spread, look how much we spread and how we got everywhere. You're the minority. You are gonna lose here, right? But we all know physically and genetically we're usually superior, unless you're like from Germany. The motherfuckers be big sometimes, but that's only like because a lot of the recessive genes were kind of like, you know, and some of the poorer people are like, so that's more like a bottle. That's more like a fish bottle. What did they say in science class? That's like a fish bottle thing that happened with that set of humans, right, in that part of the world. So when you get back into the whole pray and be prayed thing, that's kind of like tick for tat for the moment. You know, I wouldn't let that drop you into a place of crystallization, but I would definitely use as like a label to identify like what just happened, right? Like, oh dang, I just got prayed on, or dang, when I was praying, my prayer just got answered, type shit, right? So like, say I'm wearing a PS5, I went out, did some work, got my PS5, I prayed on that PS5. Whether religious or atheist point of view, satanic point of view, same thing, right? So I'm not getting deeper into that. That's rather redundant. Number 4, being alone truly is detrimental to self. A lot of this does not work on our own, whether you're human whether it's you and other humans or you and nature, right? It you can't do this alone. You can't eat yourself and expect to grow from that. You can't drink your own blood and piss and expect to be rehydrated. But I just took the water out of a bottle and put it back into nothing happened. Right? You're not your own source. So, coexistence empowers in numbers, right? As a nation, as America, we need to be coexisting. And to the outside world, we need to be powerful in numbers. All right? We set that good influence that we're coexisting as a nation. Even though we compete for like our little spoils and our aesthetics and like what makes us individual, like, oh, we like basic colors, we like vibrant colors, boom, right? That's just, it is what it is. But to put down I'm not even getting into that part. I don't need to, because you see it all the time, right? So coexistence, power in numbers. Power in numbers is when like the competition aspect comes in, right? Power in numbers helps with an aggressor. But if you don't have a real aggressor, this is rather recessive compared to the coexisting aspect, right? Like Eden coexisting, right? Two animals will fight, right? One animal eats the other one. I gotta crop that now. Fuck me. Why am I doing this extra shit? I might be high. I should have got high. Yeah, before. Being alone is truly one, but being alone, truly alone, is detrimental to self. Due to you don't even exist by yourself, which can shorten your life, inviting redundancy. Which can. I literally wrote this myself. Number 4. All right, so being alone truly is detrimental to self due to your life and your existence not even existing by yourself. So you couldn't even exist by yourself, okay? Right? So for you to want to be by yourself in a complete isolation, fuck the world, fuck everyone else, is redundant because you're not going to get anything you want besides what's given to you or what you find, all right? And then, which will shorten your life, and it can invite a lot of redundant apoptosis type things into your life. Apocalypse, apoptosis, apocalypse, pretty close, right? Anyways, number 5, it's actually cancerous. It's actually cancerous, right? Kind of devilish to refer to you and to spread hate and preference based off of a skin color, which we simply used as a form of identification, right? Because it's like, all right, I need Joe to raise my hand. 50 Joes raised their hand, but I got 50 Joes from across the fucking world. I go like, all right, Joe whose skin is darker, boom, that was it. That's all it was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Why do we make it so much more? There was a lot of sickness and diseases that we had to overcome up until now that were only native to certain parts of the world. Because like I said, you're not alone out here, right? Even if you're inside the comfortability of your crib, you're not alone. That's the only time you're alone and technically safe due to the powers that we created, right? But, see what I'm saying? So, your skin color is literally just a spectrum. Now, I'm keeping this. I'm still referring to racism this whole video, because beyond that, I think we should all be focusing on society, living your life, growing, walking through life. You know, you kind of start as a baby in your caveman days, and then you grow up into like your future alien lifestyle, ideally, when you die. So, yeah, man, I might have to get you investigated for being like autistic if racism is such a big thing with you in this modern area, considering all the bigger things that are considered, right? Like, that's what I would do, right? I would think you're probably autistic for any racism, even if you're mad at somebody. Shut your black ass up. What? 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 What point of reference are you referring to? You know, especially in a society where everything's more money based, unless you're truly DIYing it, right? If you're not DIYing it, then like you kind of need money, right? Number 6, right? And I saved this and I kept it at 6 because 6 is a sign of change, right? You see the devil, you run the opposite way. That's how it works. I was waiting for this one. If race is the topic beyond simple identification, it's a huge sign of property, simplicity, and mentality, especially concerning like the future, robots, you know, metal is not even white or black. Metal's gray, and metal's a lot stronger than you know. So, considering little things like that, ideally, for the longevity of the human race, your family, the things you care about, yourself, you would want all the humans to band together. Because just like the Terminator, right? And we're coming into Terminator ages. And it all lets us know that we are our biggest enemy. So to keep hating on ourselves within ourselves is rather redundant, right? Now, we can't forget history due to the fact that a repeat of history is how a lot of these things work, right? We reach this far because we bank on the wheel completing another cycle, although like a snowball, right? Ideally we get bigger as we roll forward, and then we're not rolling in a downward slope, we're getting bigger while rolling in an upward slope. That's what life's all about, versus rolling downwards, getting bigger, eventually reaching the aspect of complete destruction once we reach the bottom, which is entirely subjective to where you are in space and time. So, so yeah, a lot of people put in a lot of work for us to reach this far to this time period, you know, especially in a country like this. And I have been a victim of statistical racism and data-driven decision-making as well, right? So just because I was black and I did this action, which resulted in this happening, the decision was for me to be isolated or removed or have to pay some price versus my fellow human brother who was of the lighter skin within the same situation. So, you know, kind of been there, done that. Definitely grew from it. Hopefully this becomes less and less of an issue. And if they're kids, like, it's like, you know, nip in the butt from ahead of time, but you know, they're kids, they don't do shit anyways for the most part. Like, unless they have a job, they're not really contributing to anything. So you might as well just listen to their opinions and help them guide to like a good future, because entertainment's rough, right? Entertainment industry is rough, right? Sex spoils competition. It's natural, right? But there's a lot more that goes into it, and how deep you go really should be gauged off of how much you care. So if you don't care, if it doesn't benefit your life that much, you don't see you don't see how it could benefit your life, but there's a chance it does, then you need to kind of figure that aspect out. Now, you're like, what is he saying? Have you been thinking this whole time? Have you been thinking about yourself? Because I'm talking to a screen. I'm talking to a phone right now. I'm talking to a person who I don't really know is there. So what you hear, I'm happy I say this for the end. What you hear, what you interpret of what I've just said is subjective to your current opinions, perspective, and vibration in which you are right now. So now that you watch this video again, I do highly suggest you start over and watch it again and rethink as you interpret this video, but that's subjective to you and your reality, because I'm big over this. I'm gonna watch some anime and be on the fort. Deuces.